You are watching Soccer Night in Detroit. This is a special edition of Soccer Night in Detroit with Madcap Pio reporting from the headquarters in Fenton and Steve Palusevic reporting from his headquarters in Hamtramck. Tonight, breaking news involving the current negotiations between the USLPA and USLHQ. Good evening, everybody. We have come down to, shall we say, crunch time in the negotiations as far as the USL Players Association and USLHQ as far as getting a new collective bargaining agreement. It was released today that via ESPN and an article written by Jeff Carlisle that the USLPA has decided to authorize its bargaining committee to call a strike unless an agreement with the USL can be reached. The season starts 1 week from our recording tonight.
Yeah, very, very serious. ESPN posted the article early this morning. A lot of sources who follow the USL caught it. Morning Kick Around reported it. Beyond the Eye made a video about it. 90% of the players have authorized a strike vote if negotiations, which we mentioned has been going on for almost a year and a half, have gone nowhere. They said, if we don't get a fair agreement, we're just walking out.
Yep, and keep in mind, no strike date has been set. They have just had the authorization, or they just approved the authorization to use that as a tactic going into these negotiations. Now, previously, all the statements have come from the USLPA as far as how the negotiations have been going. We haven't heard much of anything from the USL itself until about, I'd say about right around dinner time tonight when the USL came out with this statement. And I will be reading this statement to you as follows. We have been negotiating in good faith with the USLPA for more than a year and remain committed to reaching a fair and sustainable collective bargaining agreement. During that time, we have met regularly, including through mediation, and have made meaningful progress on key issues identified by the players. The league and its clubs have proposed a 12-month contracts, increased minimum compensation, health insurance for all players, and expanded professional standards covering housing, travel, team meals, medical staffing, training facilities, and overall player care. We have also proposed increased group licensing compensation and league level royalties as part of our broader economic package. Our latest proposal reflects significant increases in pay, benefits, and professional standards while preserving the stability and growth of the USL Championship. While players have authorized a strike, we remain focused on continuing negotiations and finalizing a CBA that supports the players, strengthens the league's future, and ensures the game remains accessible to fans and communities across the country. This is the first time the USL has made a statement throughout these negotiations that have been going on since August of 2024. Your thoughts?
I know. And the agreement they had previously expired last year when the calendar went from 2025 to 2026.
Yeah, on December 31st. And it basically it was a base agreement to get the Players Association established.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it. So what they have seen in the last several years, and we've seen this, you and I have seen this since we've been watching the USL. I mean, we really got into that, ever since we've gotten into the league in 2022. And we've seen many a club, say goodbye to operations in the past.
Right.
In the past, the past 4 or 5 seasons.
You're right. I remember San Diego Laurel. They got pushed out because the USL team was coming down. Rio Grande Valley, they got pushed out. Not counting the MLS2, which left to form MLS Connect Pro. You've got, just more recently, North Carolina, because they're mentioned to go to US Premier. That's the name of their new Division One league. So,
And they went on hiatus too. But
yeah.
this is the thing too, and I'm going to read the USLPA statement in a few minutes or a little bit myself. But a lot of those, there's been a lot of problems that have been happening since that contract got ratified or established back in 2021. Several clubs have fallen by the wayside. Players have not been paid because of it as well. So
Yeah, if I remember when North Carolina got folded, they only got 2 months played and what do you call it? You
pink
know,
slip.
yeah, pink slip, which was not that fun to the players of North Carolina. Although the same thing expand to the other teams I just mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And we were seeing, and
and
also
it's
we're seeing this, and we're also seeing this with South Georgia Tomena. If you haven't heard, last week they informed that they would not be fielding a club because of behind the scenes financial dealings or what. I don't know. It's just and the players, they get some couple and said, "Sorry, wish you luck in your new career." So
yeah, and that's been the That's been basically it's been falling on the clubs in
mhm.
order to do that. The USL basically have been hands off as far as this thing goes, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, because
And
the
let
summer.
and the thing is, and this is the fault. I'm not gonna. It's a blessing and a curse when you think
Mhm.
about this. The USL headquarters doesn't control what the clubs do. They let the clubs run independently. The league is there. You provide, franchise fees and expansion fees and all that stuff to keep it operating and rolling. Unfortunately, in this case, the the headquarters itself doesn't provide revenue sharing with its members in the
Yeah,
professional ranks. In fact, with any of them, as a matter of fact, as far as revenue sharing goes.
yeah, because you have a TV deal. They don't share money on TV deal with ESPN, CBS. So
Yeah, and that's a seven-figure deal right there.
yeah,
And you figured, okay, you figure it's gonna maybe trickle down and all. It doesn't trickle down.
no.
So basically, right there, USL is operating as, how do you say it? Is it a sanctioning body?
I don't know because most of the leagues in the U.S. system are done by the U.S. Soccer Federation. So,
I mean, is it? I mean, like I said, is it more of a sanctioning body than it is a league itself?
hmm, I would say a good question. You know what I mean? If the USL is the operating team, then you
Or
got
is it a real estate arm?
that's a good question. That's a good question because, like I said, you need a place to play, and a place to play is a lot of real estate, including a lot of the leagues, from Al Stadium to the new Alumni Pile Field, which they cleared out the land early.
Or like Denton, Texas, or or Frisco, Texas, or whatever it is. Even as far as Dallas, Texas.
Yes, home.
It's about putting dots on the map for the USLHQ.
Yes,
It's
dots on
not
the map.
about, it's like, oh, Milwaukee, you want soccer? Come join us. Buffalo, you want soccer? Come join us. Cleveland, you want soccer? Come join us.
But if you've been following the league, they don't have their ducks in a row. You know what I mean?
No,
We no.
and compared to MLS,
Uh-huh.
which MLS is a single entity, as we all know,
Mhm.
in which everything goes, everything, goes through MLS and is spread amongst all 30 teams in the league.
Mhm.
as far as equally is concerned, and sometimes they have to, it comes back towards them. In the case of Messi, by the way, all
Yeah.
30 clubs had to contribute to get him over here. So,
Yeah, literally.
so
Literally.
it's a conglomerate where USL is run more of an independent stature.
I see.
So, and now this is apparent here as far as the curse goes. Now, I want to go over some, like I said, let's go first with the statement from the USL players before I
Okay.
get to the sticking points of this whole deal. So,
Okay.
and of course, the first page of that saying players have voted on the last proposal that was given by USL HQ. They rejected that, and then they also voted on strike authorization, which they went ahead and done so.
Almost 90% voted for authorize a strike. Yeah.
Exactly. So an overwhelming majority on that. So and this is their statement to our supporters. With 1 week until kickoff of the 2026 season, the United Soccer League Players Association will remain without a new collective bargaining agreement following 547 days of negotiations with the United Soccer League and its USL Championship clubs. The Players Association has bargained in good faith throughout that time, including spending more than 4 hours this week in mediation with a federal mediator. Basically, the same. They're saying the same thing with the, you know, USL HQ has said. There's a
Yeah, basically, and this was the first time we have heard the word federal mediator. When things are not going well, they have to do federal mediation.
yeah,
Sometimes they're good and sometimes are bad.
yeah. Further on, with additional sessions have been scheduled. This week, around 90% of the player pool participated in a vote on the league's latest proposal. Approximately 90% of the players rejected it and authorized the player led bargaining committee to take all the necessary steps, including calling for a strike if required, should negotiations fail to produce a satisfactory agreement. Players are preparing for the start of the championship season while continuing to push for an agreement that reflects true professional standards. Players are unified in their demand for a fair deal that guarantees basic protections, safe working conditions, and standards which professional athletes deserve. And
Okay.
that's their statement. Now I'm going to go further, and I'm going to credit. There's a guy that runs an independent blog for in Pittsburgh. I'm going to credit him for that. He spoke with Robbie Mertz
From
of
the Riverhound.
from the Riverhounds. I don't have his name offhand. I want to give credit to him as far as that goes. The guy's article is on Substack. It is Matthew Baldwin,
Okay.
a supporter of one of the supporters of the. I would assume a Steel Army supporter, and
Yeah.
yeah, he has a Substack talking about that talks about the Riverhounds, independent Substack. So I'm going to quote what Robbie Mertz said to him.
hmm
Okay, the vice captain. He also served on the board last year on the USLPA. So this is what he had to say. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not in the cards. The CBA has expired, and there are some legal ramifications and a process for how the negotiations will continue once the CBA expires. I won't necessarily go into that, but it's been a difficult process for both sides. There hasn't been a lot of progress or as much progress as I think any of us has wanted to see. And ultimately, from from the player's perspective, I think we feel like our demands are very reasonable and that we're trying to put guys into a situation where what they're doing out here on the football field as part of their careers is sustainable for them. And we think that it's a good thing for the entire ecosystem when you have players who can stay in the league longer because the product improves. Speaking for myself, I'm an example of one of those people who has benefited from the first CBA, and I think everybody recognizes that the first CBA put our league in a better position, and we are trying to continue to advance that. I don't think that has necessarily been reciprocated from the other side. So we're looking for them to invest in their product. I think a little bit right now, trying to keep costs as low as possible, and they view us as expenses, not as assets.
Mm.
There's been two, let's just say, venture capital organizations that have invested in the USL as of late.
Yeah, most of it is connected to the USL Premier League, which they have been promoting since last year.
Yeah, and I'm looking this up going on to it. One was announced last year, and they ended up being a partner in the USL. Okay, so as I'm looking this up, they ended up becoming one of the partners and a board member of the USL board, and as I'm looking this up. All right, capital investment here. So right now, Bell Tower Partners was one of those private equity firms that was uh, involved. They were announced in September 2025. The other one just got announced recently. Waterford Capital,
Oh.
and they've also been involved with other organizations such as the IMG Sports Academy as well. They added them as a strategic partner as well. So it's not like the USO has not got money coming in.
No.
If you got Bell Tower and Waterford together now investing money into the product.
Hmm.
So here's and I did mention earlier that none of the money going into USL headquarters is being dispersed amongst the clubs here.
Oh my.
So what's going on here as far as that goes? If you're trying, and I could understand we're trying to run your clubs independently and stuff like that, but if you're bringing in partners like that with high, shall we say, high financial stakes here,
Mm.
what are you doing? What are you doing to help protect your biggest investment, which is the players themselves?
Duh, brother. Oh, brother.
Yeah, it's just the fact that you're bringing all this high capital into the league itself, but you turn around and now like I said, nothing's going out to help to help the clubs themselves, to help the players themselves. I said, what are you standing on here?
Hmm.
What exactly are you standing on here? What are you doing? If you're bringing these people in, okay, to help the infrastructure of the league, okay, what about your most important asset,
Hmm.
which is the players themselves? It's not the clubs, it's the players.
I know, and they put butts in the seats, literally,
Absolutely.
and,
Absolutely.
and beloved by their own fan bases. I know. I know the post you just mentioned. One of my friends who the city supported said, "Do what you have to do." You know what I mean? If nothing come around, just call a strike. You know what I mean? And sometimes do work in minor sports. I remember the ECHL went on a brief 2-day strike after they couldn't reach with the league, and then there was some diarrhea. The league could fold or anything else like that. Then less than 12 hours later, they came to an agreement. So this could happen. I'm not sure. I'm not like the soothsayer saying it could happen, but brother, it's getting to critical mass, literally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is getting in the high critical mass at this point.
Oh
And
my.
we're looking at this now 1 week, literally 1 week away from the start of play in the regular season.
You're right, and
With
the timing of this couldn't come any weirder with 1 week before the first scheduled game, which was the El Clasico between Lexington XT and Louisville City, one of the top class of the league.
Yeah. So let's look at these sticking points that you know we're talking about here as far as this contract is concerned. So, first off, here, one of the top sticking points is the healthcare.
Uh-huh.
USLPA has proposed that standardized healthcare would for all the clubs,
Mhm.
like one simple, like shall we say, how it, a good example of that would be like a Medicare for all for this league.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
they want one standardized healthcare plan that covers all the clubs. USL's position is it should be done individually by each club. Here's the problem that we have there. Most of the clubs are able to provide. Most of the top tier clubs, there's like 80% of the clubs in USL Championship right now that can do that. There's another 20% that cannot.
Oh, okay.
That's the huge problem right there.
Mhm.
Instead of centralizing things, which they want to keep it, the USL wants to keep it independent,
Oh, yeah.
much like having their clubs run independently.
Mhm.
So we're going to keep going here with these sticking points. Now, one of the major sticking point in this whole deal is the guarantee contracts.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah,
you know how you have
normally,
like a 2 year guarantee deal or a 1 year guarantee deal with the option and all that stuff.
yeah.
Okay. USL wants to have 3 unilateral buyouts of players' contracts over 2 years. So say like
Okay.
you get a 3 year deal,
All right.
you could offer that player a unilateral buyout at about 75% of its salary.
Uh-huh. So that means get 75, they get buyout
They wouldn't
75.
get their they wouldn't get their full contract,
Okay. All
is what
right.
it sounds like. They wouldn't get their full contract. They could get from like 75% of their salary. They could buy their contract out with giving them 75% of their salary, or 50% up to 50% of their salary,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
they can measure it out, based on the year. So, like, say, okay, you were there a year, but we don't need you next year, for
Okay.
example.
All
Okay,
right.
that club would only offer you 75%. The other
Uh,
25% has got to be made up somewhere else.
okay.
So, and you don't see too many transfer fees going on amongst players on there unless they're negotiated. Say, like, for
Yeah.
example, I'm sure we had to pay a nice little transfer fee for Atis Youth.
Yes.
Or say like a Maxi Rodriguez, for example. We had to pay Rhode Island a little bit back, to help cover the costs for that, as well as
Uh-huh.
pay what his salary is going to be. So the USLPA obviously wants all contracts guaranteed,
Mhm.
which is which is, I would say, a basic guaranteed right. They don't want to say like, okay, somebody has a bad situation with a coach or something like that. Say like, one player is not performing well. The coach understands that, and they got MLS right now. They can do that for two of its play. Two players on each squad.
Mhm.
USL wants three.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's some bad apples out there. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure of that.
I see.
But the thing is, they want to have the lux. They want to. The USLPA basically want. That's a huge sticking point right now as far as the negotiations are concerned. They can't come to terms as far as that goes.
Mhm.
Another thing is the base salary
Yeah.
right now. USL headquarters is offering a base salary of $38,000 per year.
Mhm. That's not
That's
much.
roughly. I'm going to put it in layman's terms here. Currently, I'm working as a grocery stocker over at Meyer.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's right around $38,000 a year is not that much considering what you have to do, you know, you have to have a bit, and this also covers their housing and transportation to and from matches and stuff.
Hmm.
So the base salary of a $38,000 is not really a hell of a lot, considering I think they were at like what 31,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, they were like at a 20% increase from that, and
Hmm.
then you could flex some players to like 26,000 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
USLPA wants 43,400. They want an increase from that base salary of 31,000 to 43,000, a 40% increase.
Wow. Okay. And the league is not biting it,
No,
is it? Okay.
no, that's another. Yeah, that's another contentious point right there as far as the negotiations go. They haven't bridged the gap on that. So there's a lot, like I said, a lot of few big sticking points. Another big sticking point, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, was the fact that USL at least, or that the USL lets the defunct club handle compensation for their players should the club, become defunct, aka a North Carolina FC, aka San Diego Loyal, aka, the list goes on and on. So USLPA wants at least 75% compensation for the players who played for a defunct club.
Mhm.
They should have club say that the defunct club has to pay 75% of that salary. Not give
Mm.
2 months pay and a pink slip and say, see you later.
Good luck on your future endeavors like that.
Yeah. And that's just, that's another thing, and that they want to, settle that down, because like I said, we've had so many clubs, we've had at least one club per year for the most part, you know, cease to exist.
Yeah, right
Whether it be in League One, whether it be in the championship.
now. Hmm.
And
And
yet the players are not getting fully compensated as far as their severance pay goes.
I know that's a kind of a shame. It's just like, I'm sorry, we can't do another year. Here's your rest of your pay, and have a nice life. So, or good luck in your future endeavors. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been a problem. That has been, like I said, that's been a problem for the last few years. And fortunately, some of these players that end up that were part of these clubs, some of these players have gotten picked up and been able to move on and continue their careers. Others, on the other hand, well,
Not so much.
exactly.
Yeah, perfect example. Coco Vegas. He was a star goaltender, number one goaltender for San Diego Laurel. After that club collapsed because of the U.S. pending arrival, he was the first player signed to Rhode Island FC.
Yep. And another
Still,
perfect example of a player that came from a defunct club. One of our own, Haruki
yeah,
Yamazaki. He played with Northern Colorado Hailstorm. And the amount of financial problems that occurred with that club. He ends up coming to Detroit City FC, and he's been able to be here for the last couple years.
yeah, and become an important part of the club as a winger, trying
Yep.
to,
So he's
not,
at least he's getting paid, and
yeah.
being able to be part of be a part of another organization and stay in the game.
Hmm.
I mean, there's that. I mean, there's. I was gonna say there's so many choices out there to be in the like I said, to be in the sport itself. I mean, but like it's between third tier MLS Next Pro, third tier USL League One, and of course the second tier here, and then there's very few opportunities here in the states to play professionally.
I know.
I mean, there's still a lot of clubs. However, as far as the league's going, it's it's like there's very few. I mean, you have four different leagues in which you can go to play professionally,
Uh-huh.
and then the other big thing is, of course, we all know about NIL.
Yeah,
I
that has
mean, we know
been,
about it from the college standpoint, but
and more
there's
recently,
also a NIL when
and
it
more,
comes to professional. Obviously, because in professional sports as well, it's a
well,
bit
as you
bigger
probably
deal.
know, NIL is not a problem because you see their name, image, and likeness all over the big four professional league. They get marketed like crazy. You know what I mean? Because they're promoting their play, their likeness, and all that, and their name.
USL has a big problem.
Yeah.
Most of its stars do not have major contracts with shoe companies or athletic companies or beer brands.
hmm Which is one
90,
of
I was gonna say a good 90%. Nobody's out there. Nobody's out there on the side doing a commercial for say like Alumnify
or perfect
or
example,
Ally or
or
you know
Fago Pop.
yeah. Nobody's out there doing that. Yeah, yeah. I, Do you see Fago coming after a Detroit City SC player sponsoring Fago Pop?
No, unfortunately,
You see him with Lions.
you certainly
You see
do.
him
Yeah,
with Sonic and Knuckles.
yes, yes, certainly do. Remember,
Yep.
Sonic Temple was at one of the Thanksgiving games last year.
Yeah.
Not this year,
But
but
the
last
but the
year.
thing but here's the thing.
Okay.
These players, you know, they're in USL's marketing
hmm
and promotion
hmm
for the events that are coming up on this different channels.
Uh-huh.
Their name, image, and likeness is out there for the
Yeah.
public to see.
hmm
What the league is proposing, they
Okay.
propose $125,000 to go to name, image, and likeness
Sort of
for
like
each of the players in the league.
I see.
And grant you, you're talking about 25 teams, roster sizes anywhere from 18 to 22 players per team.
hmm Okay.
$125,000. That's not a hell of a lot of money.
125,000. Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit peanuts what some of the major names are making for NIL in the pro league.
Guess what the PWHL is offering?
$125,000.
Nope. Go
Okay.
higher.
Uh, quarter million.
Go higher.
Half a million.
Just a little over a half a million. Like
Wow.
$600,000.
Wow.
$600,000 they're offering to their players for name, image, and likeness. And that's what the USLPA wants. Somewhere in that range. And
hmm
you think with you know with Bell Tower and Waterford, you think they can afford that?
I think so.
Yeah, almost a
Unless they're
no-brainer here.
unless they're dirt cheap, who knows?
I don't see Bell Tower and Waterford as being dirt cheap organizations. I mean, you know, I don't see them as like platinum equity in the first couple of years of the Detroit Pistons, as you know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's owned by guess who?
Tom Gores.
Uh,
Yeah,
An venture capitalist. Yeah.
exactly. You know, these guys. I mean, it's basically all about taking care of your own here.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's all about taking care of your own. We're going a little bit over on this. Obviously, we spent over a half hour on that, but the the main thing is, a line has been drawn.
Oh
A
my.
line has been drawn, and it's been drawn by the players at this point. And
Mhm.
the question is now, obviously we don't have a strike date yet.
No.
There's no firm drop dead date as of yet.
And the timing could have been worse because we're about a week away, as of this recording, of the kickoff of the regular season between Lexington and
Mhm.
Louisville.
And as of now, everything's been running status quo as opposed, by the terms of the old CBA.
Uh-huh.
You know, if there's a breakdown in negotiations, how soon do you expect this thing to crumble to a point where the players say, enough's enough, we're walking out?
I don't want to say within 2 weeks, but
I mean,
oh
obviously you got Open Cup and all that stuff. You got Open Cup commitments from at least 17 of these clubs right now.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I that would be a detriment to the Open Cup should
I
that
know.
should that happen.
Yeah,
I don't
and
see that happening unless a few of these, you know, could they carry this thing out to May, through April and all that stuff? I mean, go through the, obviously the Open Cup and all that stuff because that's when the MLS starts joining in as far as that goes. And of course, you got Jägermeister Cup or not Jägermeister, but the Tire Cup.
USL Cup,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you got the Tire Cup coming up too with the League One, whose contract themselves expires this year
I
at the end of
know.
this year. So
I know.
we were talking about putting gasoline on the fire with the whole South Georgia tornado thing last week.
I know. Hmm.
So I think a lot of that had to do with, and with the fact that now the vote has come where they rejected the last proposal and authorized a strike vote,
Mhm.
or agreed upon a strike. There's, like I said, there's no set date as of yet. As far as this
Mhm.
goes, no drop dead date. We have not heard a drop dead date yet.
Mhm. No.
So right now, things are status quo. So you're thinking longer than 2 weeks, or
Of how going on strike, possibly longer than 2 weeks, unless they do a sudden wildcat strike or worse. You know what I mean? So
unless negotiations break down to a point, they're still negotiating, which is a good thing.
it is a very good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
And
still
then you
trying to
probably
hammer things out, and they've even brought mediators in to settle
well,
hopefully settle things down. But
I want to give you something for personal being a sports fan. Strikes in sports are not that good. I have seen a couple of NBA lockout that led to a shortened 50 game season. Same thing with the NHL. They even lost the season because of it.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
remember that.
Yes, and Major League Baseball, they almost lost the entire World Series because of that. That's the two only thing they didn't award title because of a player stoppage. And we have seen the NFL and their PA. There has been infamous strike, including the infamous '87 strike, where they had replacement players for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
don't know if USL will be able to go that route there. And a lot of this is too, obviously, if you're voting to strike, you probably got something in mind. But then again, we see with the ECHL, that was like a 1 day deal or one or 2 day deal, and then they got
one
back
or
to work.
1 or 2 day deal. Yes, after we went on strike, everybody decided this is serious. We had to put our thinking cap, and there were threats of the entire league going under, which thankfully did not. But they did. Yeah,
And you got to think about this too.
yeah.
The whole thing in a nutshell is we are in a World Cup year.
Oh yeah,
And not to mention the fact that you are playing games during the World Cup,
yeah.
which MLS is not.
Yes, MLS did take a month break for the World Cup, which
USL
recently.
Championship, USL League One, USLW, USL2, they're all playing games. Obviously, USLW and USL2 because, I mean, it's the summer season. You know, they got to play some way, one way or another, before the college kids get back. But the thing is, they're playing during the World Cup.
Uh huh.
And if you were the USL and you're the only game in town and you want to attract more fans in there, I think you better settle your issues very quickly, or
I
else you're going
know
to have a season that's lost. And and in the long run, who's it going to look bad on?
the fans.
The fans are going to miss out. It's going to look bad on the league itself.
I
That you
know.
cannot, that especially a league that has been bragging for the last 2 years about changing the system, going pro rel,
Hmm.
all these big ambitions,
Hmm.
establishing a Division One. That's not going to help your cause
No.
if you don't settle things here, right now.
Uh-huh.
And I've said this, I've been saying this time and time, especially in this podcast. The number one asset you have is not the fans. I mean, yeah, fans in the stands are great, but the number one asset you have is your players. And if you don't take care of them, you're not going to have a league to function.
Oh my.
So, my guesstimation is let's get through these first 2 rounds of Open Cup.
Okay.
Nothing's settled by then. You got the next round you got the round of 32 that happens.
And that's when all the MLS clubs come in.
Exactly.
And we saw what
What would be
happened
a
last.
better way? What would be a better way to have a better time to have a work stoppage than when the MLS clubs come into the picture in the Open Cup? See, there's a
Oh
lot
my.
of factors going into this thing because a lot of these players that are playing right now, they got Open Cup coming up in 2 weeks. They probably
Yeah.
want to get the 17 clubs that they want to get that going so that they continue that because that's big money right there.
You're right.
You know, being the top lower league side get you some good get you some good cash flow into your revenue stream.
Yeah. And we're hoping a lot of the USL championship go farther than what happened last year. Remember, almost every team except for
Except
one.
Pittsburgh
Yeah. We're
moved
all
on to and then Pittsburgh got bounced out the next round.
Yeah, because like
So
I said, the MLS clubs, you know what I mean, they want to show off putting their first division team against their first division team. I don't want to call them the not
yeah,
ready for primetime players, but
the thing is with the competition and all that stuff, there's a high if you see a lot of forfeits because teams cannot field players
yeah,
because of a walkout,
yeah,
that's going to hurt the league even further.
worse. I know.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking you get through these first 2 rounds of the Open Cup, and then you head into that third round. If nothing's settled by then, and they are still pussyfooting around, and nothing's getting done, is that the time you put the drop dead date in?
possibly so.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
I mean, we're far from predicted that. As you know, no drop dead date has been set,
I
but
know.
a line in the sand has been drawn today, and that
Oh
was
boy.
the announcement that they have the authorization now to strike against the league itself should things go bad.
Okay. Well, let's hope it doesn't
Yeah,
because
yeah, we're hoping everything works out,
knock
and
on wood.
for the benefit of everybody involved.
I know, including
Because
us.
the future of what this league is supposed to be about hinges on what goes on in that negotiating table.
Yeah, and also the journalists and sub journalists like ourselves following the league, literally. So,
Yeah, and it's just and like I said, it's just that like I said, it may be the biggest league in the world, but when your top division ends up falling on the wayside because you can't get a labor agreement done, that looks bad on everybody. And the ones who get hurt the most obviously will be the fans.
It will. I know.
So, all right, hate to end it on a somber note, but we'll be back at it. Obviously, we got this is going out late tonight, early in the morning. We got a big soccer game that's coming up, or a big indoor match coming up on Saturday night. We'll be at the clubhouse doing our thing prior to the match. Look for that one about 6 o'clock.
So we still
Prior,
do. Do we still do soccer night with the women's team tomorrow night, right?
you know that. You know that. You know we
Okay.
got that going. So look for that around 6 o'clock prior to the match as Detroit City FC's women's MASLW side take on the Youngstown Nighthawks. So
Okay.
for Steve in our Hamtramck Bureau,
Thank you very much. Good night and good news, and be good out there. Be good to each other. Thank you very much.
and it's me, Mad Cat, here at our Fenton Bureau, saying keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the galaxy, and most of all, be good.